I'm admitting that it's irrational. It's strange that I'm into one game that is not so like admittedly like narrative focused, but I'm not into the other one. So I'm into the Minecraft, but I'm not into Fallout. So that doesn't align logically. Yeah, so it's an irrational decision over like what I am willing to invest time and energy over and what I'm not. And there's this weird like existential aspect to it of like one of those games I feel as if it's like really warranted and natural that like I actually invest that time and energy. But the other game is just it's strange. It's like
I think you're very narrative and the first thing you do like creating your own stories and having a lot of the games that you get into massive, expansive world, at least from what I know, but at the same time you gravitate towards it's kind of like the style thing.
Yeah, they are jittery. Yeah, it's a stubbornness.
Story driven with the gameplay mechanics that you're familiar with that you enjoy. It feels to me, and the way that it wouldn't feel visually, the way that it is. What I'm saying is, you gravitate towards the games that are interesting and appeal elements that I grew up aesthetically, and we played mechanically, we got really into that. So so that are narratively driven the way they into those kind of games when you were younger, and now it's like stories of having this very massive, expansive do all these new experiences, even though you can see gravitate towards the things that you, the incentive of enjoying it,
it's that rigidity, it's a stubborn. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's just I don't know. That's the way
I think and it sounds really dark, but like there is like the potential aspect of it is almost like
the way that
what is worth doing more with in terms of like experiencing the game. Moving and kind of like siloing off. And it doesn't mean that the game is bad or inadequate. It means that it met me at some point in my life that I was unable to allocate specific time and focus to it, and that's and it's like I understand why it would meet someone else at like a point where it would. And it sounds really actually be able to get that from like the existential aspect of it is almost like what is worth doing more with in terms of like experiencing the game, and what is worth going off into some category that it like doesn't deserve. Is bad or inadequate. It means that like it met some point in my life that I was unable to allocate specific time and focus to it, and that's unfortunate. And it's like I understand why a point where it would actually be able to get that. No, that's totally right. And Chris, it's probably because you consider Fallout to be an outdated game from the past that people hardly play, so there's no reason to invest time at this point. It's one being popular or like relevant, but then it's another thing of like just is there element of it of like there were other things from the past that you find that are like gems and you buy them, and it's like this sort of favoritism, and it is irrational and it is preference, and I am overcomplicating it. Like overthinking over it. That's like kind of what I totally tend to do. Like I get lost in like this kind of like little pockets of like thought. It's probably because you consider Fallout to be an outdated game in the past, but that's also like why there's no reason to invest time at this point. So there's like it's one thing to like a generalist and there's time or not something that like a struggle to popular or like a generalist, but then people can enjoy a very just why is there a rational. I feel like that's something that I've never been able to do. Past that like there was someone in college that glorify them. You can play like, and it's like the sort of any number of games and any number of genres, it is irrational and it is preference, and I am overcomplicating it with them. And I kind of just like because it was like this is almost like a rant. That's like kind of like to tend to do like a get lost into some kind of like spontaneously enjoy it. For me, there's this sort of and then just kind of like room right there, but that's also like why. Like there's like a generalist and there's like a specialist. And like I struggle to be the generalist. And the generalist, I feel, can enjoy a very wide breadth of games. And I feel like that's something that I've never been able to do. Like there was someone in he can play like any number of games in any number of genres and become interested in them. Like impossible, like to just dive into something and spontaneously enjoy it. For me, there's a sort of computational aspect of it. Yeah, it's goes through this weird computational process in my mind, but it's almost like, hey, I want to create things and consume things. What percentage of consumption should be done and what percentage of creation should be done? And how could I optimize that? And overthink, I will be in that weird, like, anxious, like, kind of area. Either consuming or creating, but that's its own activity. Yeah, that's you start to value things kind of thing. It's really bizarre. And like I almost like don't want to. So I recognize that too. Process in my mind, but it's almost like, hey, I want to create things and. What percentage of consumption should be done and what percentage of creation should be done, and how could I optimize that? And I will overthink. I will be in that weird like anxious like kind of area more than I will actually be doing either. Because it's like there is a micromanaging activity that.
You don't think you're gonna play, or even like going to Blockbuster, you knew the game you wanted to play, you get there, there's no copies left.
Dominate.
So now you're like, shit, what do I do? So you see another and play that, and you're like, oh shit, this is good. And I think something like mine a little bit is the fact that that game is just fun. Like it's just a chill game, but there's so much to it. But there doesn't have to be when you play. You just go in. You like. I mean, like I just think like because I grew up like with different experiences at like people's houses, like you go. A lot of my buddies like Nick and Josh, they all had beauty of games. So like you go through and you might not play a game. You don't think you're gonna. They just minutes. Or even like you go to Blockbuster, you knew the game you wanted to rent, really good game. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Minecraft when it first came out in 2000. So now it wasn't like shit. Later I played the game that you might not normally play. You play that, and you're like, oh shit, this is good. And I think there was something like Minecraft. We set it up it's just fun. Yeah, like ultimately, like I always try to roll game. It doesn't have to be when you play. You just go in. They like it's like Xbox game go underground. You build tunnels. A thing that can help you. That if you go and put on money and you don't want to like a lot of YouTubers, they kind of maybe try some of the games. I've been finding out a really good game. I wasn't the biggest fan of Minecraft. Never played those games in 2009 because of how I wasn't until years later I played one to give us. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, it was AO.